We are
You were live.
live, allegedly.
Let's see.
Okay. I just posted a story, so hopefully there's so many
Did it say that
yeah,
I'm live now?
now
No.
live on your
Haha.
channel.
Hell
Is it
yeah, we
connected
did
to
it.
yours?
I think it's connected on everything. We actually, yeah. Hell yeah. All right.
On
Look at
on
us.
Instagram live?
On Instagram. It actually worked this time.
Oh my gosh, that makes me a little nervous. Yeah, Kristen Rye is live. This means like more people are gonna watch
More
it than
people might
just like
actually watch it.
the regulars who have been tuning in and
Well, it's
dealing with
funny
the
because
chaos.
one of our regulars was like, "Girl, this is during the UW Badgers Final Four game," and I was like, "Oh shit, you're right." They're playing. I think the game just started, so hopefully it'll be more than 3 sets, and we can still see the end of it. But I don't know if you've watched that at all, but it's a big deal.
What sport?
Volleyball, women's volleyball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so they won the whole thing in 2021, and then they knocked out on Sunday. They knocked out UT Austin, which this is actually a fun fact. So the last 10 NC2A championships, either Nebraska or Texas has been in the championship game, and this year they both got knocked out before the Final Four. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, some tall girl sports for you.
Did you play volleyball?
I would be so short. No, I played basketball. But it's funny, like looking at the lineup of these top teams, and the shortest girl on the team is 5'10". And
Really?
she's like the announcers like refer to her as being little.
Oh my gosh. See, this is why I was just a football manager, bringing out the water bottles.
You were the manager for the boys football team at Middleton?
Yes, but you know what? I know everybody's like, "Oh my god," and, like, they think it's embarrassing. It was, like, cool at Middleton. At least I thought it was.
No, it's not that it's not cool. It's just funny to think about you being like now, like, I don't know.
Well, I, like, played I was trying to, like, be in the sports, so I did play softball for a while, but I, like, wasn't very good, and I do remember I actually, like, had to try out and made the JV team my sophomore year because freshman year, everybody made the team, you know?
Yeah.
So I actually made it sophomore year, and I remember the coach telling me, like, you definitely have some work to do, but we, like, liked your attitude, so I'm like, "Okay, well, I've been the personality hire since, like, 15 years old, I guess, like, not much talent, but we'll take ya."
We'll keep you around, kid. That's hilarious.
And then that was the end of my sports career, except for, some sand volleyball at the Horny Goat, which was I don't even know how I did in that, but
R.I.P. Horny Goat. Never got to go. It was already gone by the time I moved to Milwaukee.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel like it's an establishment you would have loved for sure.
Probably. But
oh my gosh. Okay, what do you want to talk about?
Did you read the Vanity Fair article?
I haven't read it yet. I have it like bookmarked, but it's really long, right?
It's really long. I haven't finished the whole thing. I couldn't sleep one of these. Which night was it? Tuesday night? Tuesday night I couldn't sleep. And so I read like half of it while I couldn't sleep on my phone, which probably didn't help. But it's fast. Like the conversation about it is fascinating to me because our mutual friend Erin sent me a voice message this morning saying she's so frustrated over how much conversation there is over the pictures. And she goes, this feels like the wrong conversation to have. And I don't feel like I saw some, but I just thought the fact that Susie Wiles gave 11 interviews over the course of a year and was as blunt as she was like, that's the story to me. The pictures are like incredible, but so I don't know which way you want to take it, but there's a lot there.
I mean, what's like the spark notes on the article? Because I've had a couple conversations with people about it, and I know it sounds like she kind of set this whole thing up, and maybe not everybody knew about it. And
really?
Right? Like I don't know.
It's been over the course of 11. It's basically what I understood was 11 interviews over the course of like 11 months, and it was Christopher Wray. Christopher Wray is the author, is the journalist. Am I saying that right? And then Christopher Anderson is the photographer. And what I understood, like, I think there's like speculation as far as what is her motivation. Like, what was her motivation? Because I was trying to do some more research on how many chief of staffs have ever, or chiefs of staff, is that the plural of that? Like sisters-in-law, not sisters-in-laws. Anyways, like that, like I don't think anyone's ever given this kind of access before while being in that position. Mostly because you don't have to, right? Like, you are like that is like the definition of being behind the scenes. And so, and it was interesting because in reading it, like, nothing she said, I think, is a surprise to anyone who already thinks that way, right? Like she called Russell Vought like a religious zealot. She said Elon is like a ketamine addict. She said JD Vance's reposition, or like flip-flopping from being a never Trumper to where he is now is, you know, slight, like, what did she say? Like slightly political or something like that. She, and you know what she said about Donald Trump, which I actually don't think is that big of a deal. She said, you know, he has the personality of an alcoholic, which her dad was an alcoholic. So I think it was more in context of like, she sees similarities there versus it being an outright insult. And so, but all of it is
but so was his dad, which is very public.
Totally. And it wasn't his brother as well.
Yeah, like I would think that would be kind of a dig to him, but
yeah. And so it was just more interesting of like, is this just, I saw someone's, I think it was SE Cup, saying like, it's ego. It's her thinking that she could have controlled the narrative and that she was smarter than the journalist, and she's not, and you can't. And versus other people who I think have had speculation that it is her creating a buffer between, like, as this all goes south. But it's also interesting then in the context of this rapid fire crazed speech last night, of like a 20-minute sprint of him just like yelling at us and like holding on to that podium for dear life. And I think what seems like an attempt to tell everyone, look how much we've done, and it's gonna, like, aren't you happy? Like, be more appreciative for what we've done so far. It's, I don't know, the whole thing is so weird, of like this like double whammy of this week.
Well, didn't he make the announcement that he was going to do a live address right after this article came out? So like, it's also, right? So it's like classic, look over here, don't look at that. I don't know. Yeah, I didn't watch last night. I just like can't anymore. I mean, I like, you know, sometimes I read the updates, but like the updates I was starting to read were like, he didn't say anything. It wasn't.
He didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. That was the thing. I mean, and it was crazy because like even people on the right who are normally his like you know, staunch defenders were like Matt Walsh from Daily Wire was like what was that? And people, you know, critiquing, because I think basically it was, they told the networks, because they chimed in during like prime network time, including the Survivor finale. I guess they promised the networks he was only going to talk for 15 minutes. Clearly, this is not a man who usually sticks to 15 minutes. I on air predicted, because we taped our predictions, Steve said 26 minutes and I said 43, because after being like witnessing in real life his RNC speech, I was like, there's no way this is short. But, you know, so he's just doesn't meander, is looking like double barreled down the camera, holding on, and just talking as fast as he can at the camera. And it's true. Like, basically he said a bunch of things that were either false or exaggerated about the economy and immigrants and all this stuff. And then promised that like, we're going to see an economic boom like we've never seen before in 2026. And the only thing that was like even an announcement was the warrior dividends, which is the $1,776 he's sending to military troops, which is not actually money from tariffs. It's actually just like their housing stipend, like rearranged. So it looks like it's coming from Trump.
So he didn't even talk about like Venezuela or like any of that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it just reeked of we need to do we need to have like a PR shot in the arm. Like polling's down, his speech last week, I think in Pennsylvania was mixed, received with mixed reactions. And there's just like, how do we, make especially the base feel better? But at least we had one person texting today. This is obviously very anecdotal. It was like, I am like a true Trump supporter. And that speech, like, don't tell me it's raining when you're pissing on my head or something like that. And like, right, I think when it comes to people actually feeling like they can't get out from under like the foot that's on their neck when it comes to their finances, like you can't tell them, look how great everything is. Like it didn't work for Biden and it's not working here.
Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know what he talked about again. I didn't watch it, but like, yeah, you can't talk about like the stock market or the whole economy and stuff when people, it's just like a lot of the people who are hurting the most, like that's not even like what they're concerned about. They don't have money in the stock market. They're just like, and especially with Christmas, like so many families are stretched thin. And I think that's interesting that person, I feel like I haven't had any real conversations with Trump supporters, but lately. But yeah, I feel like he's starting to, like, everybody's kind of starting to just sour on him. This is his last term. He's like becoming incredibly embarrassing, more objectively embarrassing. I know we've always thought, or I've always thought, he was embarrassing, but it's just like, yeah, he's not doing anything anymore. He's not doing anything for them. He's not getting them more money. He's like just this rambling old fogey.
It'd be interesting to talk, like going back to 2017 when he got elected and when no one thought he was going to get elected, including him, and like what the expectations were when he came in and what he did. I feel like the expectations this time were so much higher from his base and again, this could be revisionist history as I'm trying to piece together the last decade, but obviously people voted for him and there's a lot of like, it's been dissected so much of why back in 2016. But I feel like the momentum that built over the last 4 years between COVID conspiracies and the big lie and the election being stolen conspiracies and the attacks on Biden and how everything was going to be better as long as we elected Trump. Mm-hmm. And like that whole world that was created. So I feel like once he got elected, and again, it would be more interesting to talk to Trump voters and me kind of piecing this together. It just feels like there was way, way higher expectations from people of what he was going to be able to do and what he promised he was going to do once he got elected. And I think we're starting to approach the period where people are like, oh, like nothing's changed. Between it being like America first and we're still having all this stuff going overseas. Like prices aren't coming down. Healthcare is about to skyrocket. Like all of this thing of like the emperor has no clothes. And I think it's an even bigger letdown than people who voted for him the first time who were like, I don't know, I just don't want Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm. And the first time, I do think people, from a lot of conversations I had like on the doors and stuff in the 2024 cycle, and talking to some like small business owners and stuff, people did feel the economic relief with Trump in office the first time from the Trump tax cuts, or if they had a small business. And so I do think, he did have that going for him. And I do think that's probably like at the end of the day why a lot of people ended up voting for him. And it's just like totally different. He also had a totally different team and administration. Like he had like real people who had been, in politics, and none of them are with him anymore, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Susie Wild, like, what's her background?
Oh, God, I was reading it in so she's done a different, she actually helped Ron DeSantis get elected. And then somehow they had like a major falling out. And she still in the article, like, doesn't know why. He just like pushed her on the outskirts, but she helped him get elected. I forgot who she worked for prior to that, but she also worked for Trump the first time around. Like there's a story in the article as far as she was running a campaign, I think during the primaries, and he lost in one of the primaries. There was something that happened where he came and just like screamed at her. She tells this into the interviewer. He came in and he like screamed at her and she kind of just like brushed it off. And like in true bully form. Like the fact that she, like how she handled it and like rebuffed him endeared him. And so like then all of a sudden she was in the inner circle just because like she could like he pushed her button. Like he was like pushed. And the fact that she reacted the way she did, she's like, okay, like I can let you in. So she's been in politics for a long time, but I think she's always been kind of behind the scenes person while you don't know who she is because she's not trying to be the star. But then her dad was a famous sports announcer. I think that was his Summer Hall.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, maybe that'll be my bedtime reading tonight. I definitely do need to read that. I also
someone just said she worked way back on the Reagan campaign. So she's been around.
Oh, I didn't see that comment. Okay.
This one's on Instagram. The Instagram's not coming in, getting pulled into StreamYard.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay. Why. On the Reagan campaign. Wow. Okay. So yeah, so that was the article was an absolute doozy. I mean,
the article's a doozy, but what I'm interested in is like the philosophical feminist idea on when, if ever, is it okay to attack women's looks?
I don't,
because like, it's the Caroline Levitt photo, right? And like that is,
I mean, I think all the photos are just shocking. And my shock, like, I don't think I did post a video. I wasn't necessarily like shocked about like her looks. I was shocked that somebody like that those photos ran. Like I wouldn't want photos that up close of me. And like looking at her face, I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, I know that face. That's like when you're not drinking enough water and not getting enough sleep. Like you know what I mean? And the other thing too is like, why, like, I know plenty of people who get lip filler. It's like no big deal, but why would she do it right before a Vanity Fair photo shoot? That was why I was like, did they know?
Maybe because she didn't think they were going to be that close?
Yeah, I guess. But then like all the stuff that came out afterwards about the photographer of like, this is his style. But yeah, I mean, they were pretty, like the contrast had to have been really bumped up there. Like, so I don't know. I have seen a lot of discourse about this. Like, when is it okay to attack another woman's looks? I mean,
I know the instinct is there, but like, to publicly do it, I'm just there's just so many other things to criticize.
Yeah, I mean, I think they just like all look like clowns, not even like in the literal sense. It's just like they look like dumbasses for like, you know what I mean? Like that's the feeling I got. It wasn't even about like the skin or like the lips or anything. It was just like, you guys look like fucking idiots. Didn't it come off like that to you? Like you thought you were having this cool feature piece and now you got played?
Yeah. Well, yes. I mean, it definitely feels like they, especially the photo of her where she's doing her like power pose in her red suit. And I mean, it is fascinating to just see what, in this world of consuming so much content and seeing images all the time, I think it's also just a reminder of like what actual photography is like from like an artist standpoint versus, and he writes about this. If you see Christopher Anderson, like kind of responded on his own Instagram with like a caption of, you know, I am a journalist at like first. And when asked to do this, like, my concern was, is this going to be a celebrity photo shoot? Because like, I'm not going to do a celebrity photo shoot. These are politicians. They're not celebrities. And the editor at Vanity Fair was like, no, like you have creative control. And I think that's true, right? Like we're so used to seeing photos that are made, like photos of people when they're like trying, like made to look beautiful or made to look like photoshopped. And it's less often that we see actual artistic photos.
Yeah.
As a percentage of how many images any of us see in a day. And like that also, I think maybe is what's starting about this is like viral real photography.
Yeah. Well, and we don't get like real photos from his team, really, like from the White House photographer. Like I know, like has Pete Souza?
There's no Pete Souza. Yeah.
There is one, I think, but Pete has talked about before. Pete, my friend Pete.
He's in Wisconsin, just hanging out in Madison.
I know. He has talked about how like they don't have any like real photos. Like everything is very curated and very edited, and like the photographer isn't allowed to like be really right there. Like certainly like he was with Obama, and like the photographers typically have been, at least for the past few decades, I think. Which of course is like, I mean, we all know Trump is like so vain. So that's why this was so jarring too. And like, why wasn't Trump in the pictures?
Because I don't think that their story was about him.
No, I'm just surprised. There were so many photos of like little things. Like, God, I'm glad that we did not get a close up of his face.
Yeah.
I don't think America is ready for that.
Is ready for that. Did you watch the trailer for Melania?
No.
For the documentary? I gotta be honest, I might watch it when it comes out. It may be terrible, but like she is someone who also has been so clouded with like mystery, and I'm like, I wonder what this is gonna like. How much is she actually gonna reveal in this? Like, I'm not gonna like see it in the theater, but I don't know. Like, it looks like it's kind of shot well and could be interesting.
But I mean, I'm assuming she or he or somebody on their team is like an executive producer, right?
Yeah. So it's not gonna be like an honest, like it's gonna be as yeah. But I don't know. It looked
I'm definitely gonna watch it from the couch. But
yes.
Also, I just saw a couple headlines that were kind of crazy. I saw that Trump allegedly renamed the Kennedy Center. Although it sounds like it's not legal, but I think the logo is already updated on the website. It says like the Trump Kennedy Center. He announced the wait, what is this? The like Hunger Games. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The Patriot Games.
The Patriot Games.
A 4-day event that will feature one male and one female from each state competing to the death. I mean, I just added that last part. Obviously, it's not to the death, but it's definitely giving like, may the odds be ever in your favor type of energy. Don't you think?
Oh, yeah. But I also want to know, like, what are they competing for? So I think he said they're high school students. So it's just a pageant, right? Like he was a pageant guy.
That's true. Yeah. What is it like? Are they competing against each other? Are they all from the same sport?
I have no idea. I literally have no idea. I've only seen the headline. I don't know if is this also going to happen next to the UFC fight that's going to be happening on the White House lawn?
Who knows? But then I also saw.
Are they the ones who are going to be doing the UFC fight?
That's what I mean. It's like, is this a fight to the death? I mean, is it like a little mini Olympics?
I don't know.
I'm sure they'll be selling tickets and like somehow monetizing this.
Yep.
And it'll be on pay-per-view and stuff. I'm sure like Dana
Here's the thing though. Do you cheer for the Wisconsin team? Or do you just abstain entirely? Which someone just updated that Wisconsin won the first set for anyone who's caring about the volleyball. Do you abstain or do you still go in there being like, I hope Wisconsin wins?
I don't know.
I could kind of see some state people, like I think people who just want nothing to do with it, but like I do think there is an interesting, like we cheer for the Olympics, right? Like it's the whole joke of at any
the Olympics is like, legit.
I know, but I'm just saying, like let me go with it a little bit. Like all of a sudden, you're like, oh, I'm critical of my country. 3 years, like 3 years and 11 months every 4 years, and then for this 1 month, I'm like USA. Like and then all of a sudden, you're just like, because we don't really have interstate competitions like this.
It's true.
It's not every state doesn't have professional sports. The Dakotas are out there just with nothing, except they're college teams. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
I
really
don't
think that we're
know.
going to cheer for it, but I think it's going to be ridiculous. But it is, you know, nothing is surprising anymore. Except it does seem like the Rob Reiner reaction did surprise even his supporters.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone besides Laura Loomer defending him on that.
Is she still defending him?
Oh, she did this as I saw. She was like, I'm with, like, it was like, fuck Rob Reiner. I'm with President Trump.
It's so crazy because it's just like, that is the very thing that they came after, like some people who were doing this after Charlie Kirk's death. It's so, and then like I saw an interview with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I hate to keep like referring to her interviews, but she just like is saying things that that should be said. You know, she's like, that is just not, that is so below the office of the president of the United States. Like, it's ridiculous. It doesn't matter what his politics are. Like, it was such a like a horrible tragedy too. Like so traumatic that it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
And I've never even heard Trump say his name before. Like, come on. You know, did he even really care?
I don't know. But yeah, that like the 3 days of coming to work on Monday and reading like the headlines, it was just like, holy fuck. Between Bondi Beach, Brown University, and Rob Reiner is like the top 3 stories Monday morning. And you're just like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, and who's even letting him? Why are we letting him tweet or Truth Social things on his own? Because like Kamala has talked about, even as like VP, she like didn't get a cell phone.
Oh, really?
Like she like was actually excited. The one thing about like, you know, not being VP anymore and obviously not being president, she's like, well, I finally get to be back in my group chats because I didn't like get to be in any. And like, she's like, I had this one phone where there was like 6 secure numbers in it. And then Trump's just out here like just, you know, live tweeting. I mean,
someone might be doing it for him because apparently that's what happened with the plaques that went up this week for the presidential gallery. Yeah. Like he just wrote some things and like someone wrote them down. So there could just be someone who transcribes stuff and tweets it for him. But yeah, that's a good question as far as security goes.
I did hear there was a girl with a laptop that follows him around and she types up what he's saying. And then she always has a printer in her backpack. And then she types it up. She prints it out. He looks at it because he needs to look at a physical copy to approve it. And then she posts it. Like she carries a printer around in her backpack. I swear to God, I'll have to like look this up, but I'm pretty sure I read.
This is why we need the White House photographer so he can take pictures of this girl.
Exactly. That is what I need pictures of. The other thing, I'm just asking you about all these things because I'm like, I've been so busy with just the holiday stuff. I haven't paid attention as much, but my brother just texted me, and he was like, what did he just do? A total 180 with a link that he's now like descheduling marijuana or cannabis like to a class 3, right, instead of which would have like huge ramifications, especially for people who have like are in jail or who have had.
That's as soon as I read that, I was like, so what does this do for people who are already in? Yeah, like that's what I actually don't know. I need to go read more about it. Like, what does this do? Because it obviously doesn't decriminalize it. I mean, I guess it kind of. This is where we need lawyers. As I was just talking this week, I don't want to be a lawyer, but God, I wish I knew the law.
I know.
Right? I don't exactly know, but I feel like this was one of those things where like, oh, that could actually be really good. Because I don't know. I honestly don't know what it means and how it like trickles out into people who are already in jail, people who have criminal records, what it does to states like ours where it's completely illegal, but no one's. Yeah, we have on WTMJ we have an ad running for a dispensary that's in the UP, which I think is really interesting. So like in Wisconsin, it's not legal. Obviously, it is in Michigan, and so they're advertising in Wisconsin, which I think is really interesting. And like we're allowed to take their money.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think all the rules and
like
the law.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's illegal, but like, is it? And so, yeah, I don't know what happens there, but it's interesting because he's also been against the hemp ban. Like he's come out saying he doesn't want hemp to be banned because they did that as they were trying to get the government back open. And so that could be a good thing for both hemp and cannabis.
Yeah. I mean, because technically it's like, I mean, that's just like more government overreach, right? And it also is impacting a lot of hemp farmers, you know, and a lot of small businesses that have like made livings on, well, especially, I mean, here, yeah, we don't have legalized marijuana, but we do have, because of the loophole, at least for now, you can have the drinks and things like that. And like places, like stores are popping up all over the place, and those drinks are everywhere too. So it has a lot of financial.
Oh yeah, it's killing like a $2 billion industry. No, $28 billion industry.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's massive because the way that they wrote the ban is just so misinformed as far as it was like there can't be more than 0.4% in a package, which is like most balms that have like they're like for like sore muscles that are CBD have more than that, right? Like it's like it's a ridiculous made up amount that they decided could be in a package that bans way more products than just things that get you high. And so basically kills the industry. If it doesn't, but they have until next year. They had 365 days to come up with a new law.
Yeah.
Kelly Greens. We love Kelly Greens and Tosa.
Yeah, I was chatting with somebody a while ago who either worked there or was familiar with it or something, and she was saying, I mean,
was it Aaron?
Maybe. Like if it goes into effect as is, I mean, it would affect everything about them. They wouldn't be able to like exist basically. However, you know, it does have a year period, and who knows what will happen in that time. Maybe they will try to like either get that extended so they can get some, because I do think most politicians I've spoken to, like even Democrats, are like, we do need some regulations. You know, it's like
most business owners want regulations. Like most people who own any kind of CBD or hemp product stuff. Like I had interviewed a guy who has a Milwaukee company called Batch, and he's been advocating that like they don't want the bad actors who are selling shit to teenagers at gas stations or have like 100x concentration that are causing people to like hallucinate. Like,
oh my God,
most business owners actually are also like, please regulate this that in like a responsible way so people don't get sick, because we don't want to get looped in or like lumped in with the people who are causing harm.
Right. And oh my God, I didn't realize that was like at gas stations and teenagers could get it. Like, thankfully it wasn't around when I was a teenager. We were just, I mean, going to Walgreens and trying to get like caffeine pills. Or what was that other?
Just trying to get your Jesse Spano on.
Yeah, one time.
Do you think there was a spike in caffeine pills because of that fucking episode of Saved by the Bell, when they were like, you're like, ooh, once you started experimenting, you're like, well, Jesse got high on these. So like, let's see what the hype was about.
I would think you would have the opposite though, because seeing her, it was like, yeah, I don't want that. I don't want to totally spiral, but you know, teenagers do some.
But it's basically she was just taking like a lot of Adderall. That was the reaction that I feel like was actually like the meltdown she was having was more of like a teenager who's taken way too much Adderall and hasn't slept for a couple days versus over the counter caffeine pills.
Yeah, I do just remember taking them one time and just not feeling good.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, this is, yeah. No, now all the kids do those nicotine pouches. Do you have to be 18 to buy those?
You're supposed to be.
The Zins?
I mean, tobacco is still supposed to be over 18.
Well, so here's the interesting thing too, because like
they also have vapes.
Yes. Oh, yes. I know a lot of kids do the vapes, and for a while they were like outlawed, but I actually think Trump was trying to like bring those back. Like I think he changed his stance on those because that like lobby sector was after him. But yeah, the Zins are huge, and not only are the kids doing them, but like RFK Jr. is always has one and talking about how healthy they are. And I see in some of the like, you know, right wing.
Wait, RFK Jr. does Zins? He has tobacco pouches?
Yes, they're always in his mouth, and he talks about how he loves them and how it's actually healthy. He talks about the health benefits, and like literally some of the female like right-wing influencers and podcasters I follow also talk about how tobacco is like, I don't know what they say. I covered so much about vaping pre-COVID, it kind of faded away. Yeah, I think it's kind of back and being enabled by the current administration, and it's certainly like a talking point on the right now.
How did I totally miss this? Wait, so are some of these like Maha moms like dipping?
I don't know if they are.
Is a Zyn pouch considered dip? Is it like chewing? It's like a pouch of chewing tobacco, right?
I mean,
I've never had one, so I don't know. But like, I would assume that's what I associated it with.
Well, I think it's really like funny. It's not like the dip that, you know, our friends did in high school and like spit into a thing. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. It's not dark.
It's not.
Yeah,
dark.
It looks a little more like discreet.
Okay. Huh. No. Someone just said no. Zins are not considered dip. You don't spit. Okay, but it's still just like tobacco, like up against your gum, which has to have a similar.
Is it tobacco or is it nicotine?
Oh. It's like a piece of Trident gum.
Yeah, it's like a little thing. It's like cutesy, you know. I don't know. Girls. We're gonna need to talk to some.
It's like the Virginia Slim of chewing tobacco.
Oh my gosh. There's always something.
All right. What else was on our list for this week? What else has been going on?
I don't know. Who did you have any really good interviews this week, or what else is going on in Wisconsin?
David Crowley was on Wednesday, but he was talking more about county stuff versus campaign stuff. And he was great. He's always really good. I think one of the things I did ask him, and he had some kind of very diplomatic answer, but I think about the governor's race as it is and everyone who's running and the balance of what everyone also has to do. Because you have a Joel Brennan and Missy Hughes who resigned from their positions, so now can fully focus on campaigning. Yeah. You have Mandela, who does like his PAC and his nonprofit, unknown how much of his time he'll have to do that versus just campaigning. Kelda and Fran, the session will probably be over in March or April, like it always is in a campaign year or an election year. Sarah Rodriguez will be lieutenant governor, but again, how much does she actually have to do that versus campaign versus David, who has like a very big job that doesn't stop just because you're running for governor. And, you know, I asked him, I was like, so like, how are you balancing everything on top of having 3 kids, 2 little smaller kids? And he just, you know, it's like, he just like complimented his team, both on the campaign side and his staff side, as far as like keeping him like scheduled and up to date and what he needs to do and still getting home on time. So it wasn't like groundbreaking what his answer was, but it is a lot because, you know, like the budget and MTCS and like all the stuff that they're fixing and having to do in the county doesn't stop once like the session's over.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of details too. And probably a lot of like everything is a roadblock, I imagine. His work weeks are like, you know, there's just so many different things and it's just a lot of tough decisions. And like, yeah, when you're dealing with the budget and all that stuff, it's like just difficult problems to solve all the time. But I'm sure it's like not only time consuming, but kind of like mentally exhausting too. But he also just went, I mean, luckily he's done with this, thank God, but he also went back and got his degree and took night class for a while.
That's actually what he did reference. He referenced like he's been having to have good time management skills because he was going to school and finishing his degree while he was also being county executive. And that kind of like primed him for now just adding a different thing on top of the job than what school was. And so, but he's great. Like he's just a wonderful human. And so he was really good. Who else did we have this week? It's kind of a later week for guests. We had Jeremy Janine from Urban Milwaukee. He's always on Thursdays talking all things Milwaukee. What was interesting about what's in the Milwaukee stuff? I have to go look at my notes because it's been, it's the end of the week. We're getting there. What'd you work on this week?
Didn't we talk? What?
What did you say?
What did you say? There was a delay.
I know there was a delay, so I couldn't hear what you said either. Someone Jessica just asked,
what was they saying?
I don't know. Well, so you talk a little bit about your interview with Fran. Is that your first interview with any of the candidates?
Yes. Yeah. It was great. I mean, I don't know if you've listened to it yet. And I know I was texting you. I was like, I feel like I have to work on my interview skills. But she's a very good person to talk to, especially as far as politicians go, because she is just like real and honest. And you can tell she puts a lot of thought into the questions she's asked and how she wants to answer them. But it's not because she wants to get the right quote out there. It's like because she wants to be thoughtful, you know what I mean, in how she's responding to things. So it was good. It was like 50 minutes and she was just very real about a lot of stuff. I don't think it's my job to ask like the gotcha questions or anything like that. I know there's plenty of like reporters who will be asking those. I want to have these interviews because I'm not a journalist and I'm not like, I just kind of want to get to know these candidates better because really they all have great resumes and they'd probably all do a great job. And so I want to just like have people get to know them a little bit more, especially the people who like aren't as tuned in and maybe like wouldn't watch an interview on, like the Sunday programming or whatever, but might catch some of this and get to know them a little bit. So I think
it's super smart because I remember a couple weeks, I think the first time we did this 3 weeks ago, a month ago, we were saying like, what are the Wisconsin podcasts? Because ultimately, like I know this better than anyone, like doing the radio show, and because you've been on now, like 6-minute segments on the radio is a very different conversation. 6 minutes, let's say it's 2 segments. So it's like 2 segments, but it's still 6 minutes. So like as soon as you answer 2 questions, like, all right, we got to go to break and we'll come back. And it goes super fast. And it's a very different dynamic. And the same thing goes for TV, right? As far as either they have a whole sit down interview and then they like what they air on the nightly news is going to be clips of that. Interviews on Upfront on Sundays are still like those are also fairly short segments. Like actually getting to sit down with someone for an hour and just talk and warm up is a very different conversation. And there's not a ton of Wisconsin, I don't think, a ton of Wisconsin focused podcasts that like allows candidates to go on and do that. So I think it's really good that you're doing it. Because I don't think there's a lot of other opportunities. Like I think there's for people who want to have see a different side than like the performative side of like, I am on a news show and I am going to answer these questions, like giving them a safe space to actually like put their shoulders down a little bit, I think is.
Yeah. And that's kind of my hope. And somebody mentioned WUWM. That's true. Like they have programming and like NPR has like, but even those are, I guess, a bit condensed. I'm sure that there's stuff out there, but it's still done by like more like reporter type, like serious people. I guess I'm just like a less serious person. So I'm hoping, I started with Fran, who like, I think would be open like this to anybody because that's who she is. And so I'm not like patting myself on the back that I got her to just like be real with me. I guess we'll see how the rest of them are. And if they even want to like some of them might be like, who, what? So we'll see.
You think so? Have you met David?
Yes, I'm sure I have met David, and I hope he wants to chat because I would love to chat with him.
David, David, Kelda, Sarah, Mandela. I feel like all 4 of them you already have at least some kind of existing relationship with.
Yes, I know them all, so hopefully I can get them on.
This is Joel and Missy, and both of them would do it too. Because both of them need the most help when it comes to name recognition.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, we have a bit of time, so I can do it over, I don't have to do them like every week. I do want to like talk to other people though too, but yeah, I mean, because all people see are like those little clips and little sound bites, and I'm not really interested in those. And I think a lot of people are getting less interested in those now that, and Fran talked about that a little bit too. She's like, people have so much more access to politicians now, both in seeing what they say and being able to like relay feedback or call them or comment or whatever. And she talked about, she's like, that's a good thing. Because we talked about the Reddit AMA she did, and she talked about how nervous she was about that. But she's like, the questions were really good, and it was really nice to be able to like dive deeper into like some policy questions they had and put my thoughts out there. And I loved reading through the AMA. It was just a really nice format to hear more about her policy stuff, but like, it's kind of nice because she's still responding in real time. So it's not like she's like perfecting a message, but she does like, it's also
she's typing it out. Like I've never sat in on a Reddit AMA. It's not like this. It's not like a live video you watch. It's like people ask a question and then she answers
within like probably, all within an hour or something. But she has a couple of minutes like form it. So it's different than like when you're just on camera and you feel like you have to say the response immediately. So it's kind of
and
like
within 60 seconds and like on like a debate or something like that. Like it's a different skill set where she can put a little bit more thought into the actual answer than be which like, is nice. I am performing.
It's kind of that middle ground of like, you don't have to like say it immediately, but you still. So I thought that was good. And she's talked about like a lot of different things, and she's actually like talking about plans. And I know they're putting together like some fiscal proposals for stuff. And so I think people are going to be surprised if more and more people like meet with her and go to her stuff and realize like she's not like that, her like, big scary socialist ideas are not maybe what they think that they were. And she has homework to back it up and to talk about the plans. But I really like, and I know you, Dan, and I talked about this last week too. She's actually like, she is aware of the gravity of the situation and like what needs to be done, especially if the legislature's flipped. And she is putting those plans together. And it's not just, 5 to 7 talking points on the website.
Yeah, I actually revisited her website. Like, oh, this is actually I think she might have the most on her website looking back.
Yeah, and they're adding to it.
Yeah. Which will be interesting to see is like that is, did you get into that at all as far as like prioritization? Because like when you have so much, because it goes back to what we were saying with like a couple weeks ago when you're like, Christian, like under promise, over deliver on the like, this is my ideal utopia of things that we would be able to work on. And it's like, all right, if you pick one to start with, what is it going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think her like, I didn't ask her that specifically on the call, but I know like on her website, she has like on her homepage, she has like the 3 most important things are like universal childcare,
paid leave,
public schools, can't remember, but I mean, I think she did talk about like the first thing, not the first thing, but one of the most important things you do is the budget, right? So yes, you have priorities, but also they're drafting the budget pretty much right away in the first 6 months, right? And that's when we like really see their priorities too. And obviously it's very different if depending on what the legislature looks like. And somebody's asking if there's a chance it could flip. There is a chance. I think we think Senate is pretty likely to flip. Assembly, Dan didn't think Assembly was as likely. I think it could in the midterms that we're going to have, but
I need to go back and see which races are the ones that are going to be close in the Assembly. Senate, it's also hilarious to me. This was so the Senate has gotten like nothing done. Like the disarray in the state Senate and like the infighting between Republicans in the state Senate is just comical. But they did manage to get together and create a committee to create like an oversight of the Department of Justice and Josh Call.
Oh, really?
And so I won't say who it is, but one of my friends who's a Capitol reporter and I were texting, and And she's like, it's just like hilarious. Like that's what they got done this year, like out of everything. And
well, they did pass a lot of bills, right?
Did they? Oh my ring light died. No. Now you have to look at me in the dark. Did they? I don't think they passed a lot of bills. What did you think they passed this year that was like?
Well, I know they passed like postpartum Medicaid, and I thought they passed some other stuff too that like wasn't even going anywhere in the assembly. But I know that it was a struggle for them also, even like for the Senate members on the Joint Finance Committee, and just not being on the same page really. And I don't know.
You reading
so
comments?
We will. What?
You said, are you reading comments?
No, I can't see anymore.
Okay. So I thought, I don't know. Y'all don't know what. Oh, okay. We're moms and it's 9:00 on a Thursday.
This is the casual yap session. King shit, you're lost. But thanks for coming and thank you for the engagement.
Thanks. Yes, thanks for the shout out.
You are always welcome.
Did your property taxes go up?
Not much. Only like I think like less than $100. But did yours?
Yeah, I think ours went up a little bit, but like it's interesting because if you've watched Tom Tiffany on Twitter at all, it seems like he's priming to have that be a central part of his
for sure
campaign. Mm-hmm. And from a strategy standpoint, I'm interested in how that will end up landing because so it's like Wisconsin Policy Forum had a one of their reports came out this week that is neutral as it always is, but was basically like the 3 legs of the stool of why your property taxes are going up is because state funding has been flat, and which most of us know, and the referenda keep happening. People keep voting for the referenda, and because of Evers' line item veto, the levy has been higher. And so it's interesting to me, like, will that work as far as, because he keeps trying to blame the veto as the reason why your property taxes are being higher. It's like, well, no, your property taxes are higher because your community voted for it in most of these places.
But the community voted for it because the schools need money and the legislature isn't providing it. So it is sort of like a nuanced thing that's hard to kind of explain to people. Like I didn't even get it.
I know, and that's why
6 months ago.
And I'm interested if it's going to work for him or not. Like, because on its face, you're like, oh, Evers, it's because of Evers my property taxes went up. And like how whichever Democrat it ends up being will counterbalance that, because most of them are also still arguing like we need to fund, like most of them aren't necessarily campaigning on lower taxes for middle class, but if you can't, like, and this is the thing where I just come back, it's like and I don't believe that property owners should like bear the whole, I just think the way we fund schools is like fundamentally broken, because I don't think it's fair that only homeowners are the ones bearing the burden of funding schools. Like it should be the state that is like carrying more of the load, if not most of the load, especially if we're going to especially if you're supporting getting rid of the Department of Education, like, and you want it to go back to the states, are you prepared for your state taxes to go up so they can actually like make up whatever federal money would be going away? And I don't know, like, I think it's what's frustrating to me is the understanding that like everything for you is more expensive, but that like everything for everything is more expensive. And so these things that we want, the services that we expect from government, like the people who provide those services, they deserve to have a wage that keeps up with inflation, just like any of us who work in the private, like for a private employer do. And I don't know, like, this is why some of it for me for governor is like, also like, we got to figure out ways to have more revenue, like state revenue. I mean, this comes back to like legalizing marijuana, like figuring out more ways to actually have more revenue so that the answer isn't always just taxing people more.
Unless it's like the very, very wealthy people and like wealthy, you know?
You see that John Menards
Yes.
owes Wisconsin $750,000. I was like, oh, it's a drop in the bucket for that guy.
Oh my God, I know. Like, yeah, that's like, I mean, it's good. Like, but yeah, I mean, it is good. It's holding like I don't know if he's a billionaire or just like a multi-millionaire.
He is, I don't know if he's the richest person in Wisconsin. Diane Hendricks may be the richest, but he is up there.
Well, good. Then he got it. Basically, it amounts to like a speeding ticket for him, but we'll take it. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see because I do have another friend who lives in the Madison area, and she said her taxes went up $2,000.
Yeah, I think someone said someone in Bayview texted in today saying theirs went up by $2,000. Can you imagine like your property taxes going up? Like, I mean, I know it's for the year. It's not like the ACA stuff where people are like, oh, it's like $1,000 more a month or $2,000 more a month. I don't know what people are going to do.
Have a double whammy, you know. But back to your point on like the messaging, like obviously, yes, that's all I'm seeing from Republicans too. And so Democrats need to figure out what they're going to say. And they need I do think we need to get ahead of it. And I think we need to help
because that is something that, yeah, I think that's a big thing. Because that's sometimes, because like when you're talking about lowering people's health care on a state level, it's like, well, how much that's sometimes a bigger issue than you can solve here versus property taxes feels like a hyper local thing, right? That feels more in the purview of what your local and state lawmakers should be able to address.
Well, and they could address it because there's like an almost $5 billion surplus rainy day fund.
I have to go back because a lot of the previous surplus I think was used in the budget, but then I feel like I saw another headline that said after like this last year that there's like a new surplus. Like it was like spent down, but then there was, I don't know, I got to go back and look at that.
I know. And I need them to put out something with like actual pie charts and stuff because all the budget stuff is like in articles and it's so hard to like understand context when you're just reading words about like millions and billions of dollars, you know?
I need it's like flow chart. Like this came in and then it went down and then it went back up. We should suggest that to Jason Stein and over at Wisconsin Policy Forum. Was like, we need more pictures.
Yes, show the math.
More pictures, Jason.
Why did all our teachers make us show the math if nobody's going to actually show the math, you know? My God. Anyways, that seems like a next year problem. It's a circle back problem.
Yeah, we're in that time of the year, right? This is the corporate speak of that's a next year problem. I say we circle back to because we probably won't do this until 2026.
Yeah, we should take
because it's
we've been doing this for so long. We probably should take a break.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you. I think we're probably not going to do it on Christmas, and we're probably not going to do it on New Year's.
Yeah, so we'll be back the second week of January.
The second week of January. So yeah, we'll be back January 8th in a new year. Do you have a New Year's resolution?
No, I don't do that.
Okay. Do you have goals for next year? Are you like manifesting anything?
I did have like a strategy session for all my stuff. So I have like a roadmap. Okay. I'm pretty non-committal. I don't really like committing to like straight up strict goals. I like to just like add more things in. I don't know.
It's good. Resolutions themselves are. No, my big thing for next year is not having my phone in bed and actually reading more books. Like I think a big thing that's come up for me this year is just a recognition of how much information I take in, but how little knowledge I retain. If that makes sense, as far as like because like it's like headline after headline, and it's kind of like I don't retain much of it. And so trying to actually spend the time that I right now I do scrolling on like learning more. So trying to break the habit of the last and first thing I see is my screen. And then honestly, a big one's like trying to just get better at what I do versus trying to do more of everything.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Like trying to just, instead of the constant kind of like, oh, I need to be doing this and I need to be doing that, I need to be like doing this much content or whatever, it's like simplifying a little bit. We'll see if I actually am good at that or not, but that's like at least what's ruminating in my brain these days of like, how do you actually get better at the things that you're doing versus just more is more.
So I think that's good. I think you're going to be in a lot of good company with that. I think, you know, we've had a year now of especially Trump and the news being like crazy, and I think everybody's feeling like this, and so it's like we all need a little less and refine the things that we enjoy to do, because you can tell even when you're consuming content if the person who like made it enjoyed or cared about that, or if it's just like they're just putting out stuff because it's going to get more clicks, you know. And I don't think people can handle that for much longer. So
right, I feel like it's just like people are exhausted of the hooks and the fucking,
I know,
you're never gonna believe in 3 ways and so that's what I'm thinking about. But I'm excited to keep doing this with you.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have a fun year, and I hope you
good.
have a magical Christmas with your kiddos with very little stress.
Yeah. Yeah, I do go pretty easy on myself, so it'll be good. But yeah, I hope you have a good Christmas too, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
All right. Bye. Bye, guys.